Over the past 9 years, we have been working hard to create our paradise self-sufficiency farm, combining my passion for fresh, organic, healthy food and Dan's love of the jungle and tropical vibe. Self-sufficiency is an ever-evolving journey of learning, hard work and adaptation, and true nourishment for the body and soul. If you enjoy this video, we would love for you to join us again. So be sure to subscribe to follow our onward journey. Hi folks, I'm Laurie, and together with my partner Dan, who is the other side of the camera right now, and our border collie Murphy, we're going to show you around our 3-acre self-sufficiency farm in the south of England. We've owned 2.5 acres of this land for about 10 years, but this piece that I'm stood on now is an additional ½ an acre that we acquired in 2018. And it was completely thick with bracken, and there was trees growing up through the polytunnel frames, and slowly each year we've been reclaiming bits of the land and creating our version of an edible and tropical paradise. This area that I'm stood in here, we've got some raised beds and we're growing sweet potatoes and then some cut flowers. And behind me here, we've got a net house, and this is where we grow all of our brassicas, so crops like kale and purple sprouting broccoli and cauliflowers. And this net house gives us great protection from the cabbage white butterflies, so it is a really useful addition. And we've just actually cleared that out, ready for all the new plantings. Over here we've got all of our bean frames where we grow beans for drying. Beans are a really important protein source for us. And then with the beans we've got tropical crops like bananas intertwined and flowers. And then we're also growing sweet corn between the rows here, and they're growing on really strong this year. Our polytunnels are massively valuable to us. In these we grow all of our heat-loving crops like tomatoes and chilies and peppers and melons. And these are probably our prime real estate of the whole of our land. And so we try and utilise these spaces as much as possible. This is our storage shed and workshop, and is another massively valuable space, not only for crop storage, but also for rainwater catchment, because we are completely off-grid here, so we have to generate all of our own water and electric. And one of the things that this space also is used for is drying crops, and that is why we've got this hessian all the way around at the moment, because we have just recently harvested all of our year's supply of garlic. And you can see over here, this is our beautiful elephant garlic that we grow a lot of, enough for us, enough for seed for the following year, and also enough to sell. And then this side is a little bit more elephant garlic and also our French garlic. And this is a 10,000 litre tank here, which collects and holds all of the rainwater that we harvest from this roof.
And in addition to collecting water from the roof surfaces, we also have a well which we pump up into 2 tanks we have at the very top of the land, because the land's on a slope, and that allows us to then use gravity. And we installed a watering system that goes to various places around the land to enable us to irrigate our crops and polytunnels as well. So if we move down here, you'll see that we love to include beauty in everything we do here. So as well as growing food, it's also like a beautiful garden. This year we've put some beautiful dahlias along here, They were one of my grandma and granddad's they've had for a couple of decades. And along this area here in this bed, we have these beautiful bananas, which you can see there, as well as our potatoes for the year. And that will be a lovely whole year's worth of potatoes for us, which we can store. We also collect our own potato seeds as well. And we could come down here actually. Dotted throughout a lot of the beds here, we have little areas just for relaxing, little fireplaces just to come and have a fire. Our bed down here, we have corn and squash, which are another couple of important crops for us, which can be utilised and stored in various ways for the colder months as well. We also try to provide as many of our own materials as we can, so we grow all of our own firewood, and here's a smaller little plantation of eucalyptus. These ones are probably, what would you say, Laurie, like 6 years old, 5, 6 years old? 4 years old, she says. Yeah, they're very fast growing. We just grow very small blocks, almost the size that you would have a potato patch. It's not much bigger than our potatoes. And that just, each tree gives such good wood. It burns beautifully as well. This walkway here is something that we made last year, and we call it the food forest strip, because as you come along here, there's fruit trees all the way along. These are mostly ones that I grafted. So we have all of our favourite different varieties on there, and they are underplanted all the way along with alternating blueberries and, what are the other ones called, Laurie? Honeyberries as well, yeah. And then on this side we have flax along here, New Zealand flax, with bananas. So over time this will be fruits dangling all above your head this side, and the big bananas on this side. So it's going to be so cool walking through here. Materials are so expensive these days, especially timber. So we have a little stockpile here. Whenever I'm out and about, I've always got my eyes open for reclaimed wood, and it's amazing what you can find, what people throw away. I mean, most of this stuff here is just solid hardwood. This is a wood called Meranti, and you can barely hold the thing. It's just unbelievable. And this is just being burnt and thrown away. And I also get hold of some large trees from local tree surgeons and use my chainsaw freehand milling to make slabs, because I'd like to start making kind of bespoke furniture and other cool bits like that in the future. So this here is our solar system, and it comprises of 8 solar panels making up, I think, 2.4 kilowatts, and it provides all the power we need here at the land and has worked really well for us. We have 2 lithium batteries and an inverter with it. So now we head over to the other side of the hedge and look at the original lands that we had much longer, and check out our new additions, the chickens.
So this spring our plan had been to start building our outdoor kitchen, but life happened and we decided that we wanted to get chickens to incorporate into our systems here and add another layer to our self-sufficiency. So we've created a completely self-sufficient chicken setup with their own feeder. They've even got their own water catchment on their house as well. And they have been laying us 5 to 7 eggs for literally since about 2 weeks after we got them. They have been amazing, and we are really enjoying having all their personalities and having some more friends and more life on our land. And we're also using this space to start growing crops that will help us feed the chickens as well. We're always going to supplement them with chicken feed to make sure they get all the nutrition they need, but we are growing crops that will help us reduce that. So we've got sunflowers and we've added fruit trees, and there's lots of other crops we're going to be growing that we'll share in other videos.
And this is an area we call the village green. It's always nice just to have a bit of grass. We've got a seat and a fireplace there, and a nice wildlife pond in this corner.
This area here is our food forest. And a food forest is basically a hybrid version of an orchard. incorporating as many edible perennial plants as possible. And we've got somewhere between 100 and 150 different edible plants in this space, which I believe is approximately 20 by 30 meters. And how it differs from an orchard is that instead of just having trees well spaced with grass in between, you utilize the space better and underplant the trees, as you can see here with this bed where we've got over 20 different edible perennials just in this space alone. And then we incorporate fruiting bushes that we plant quite close underneath the trees. And it's just an absolute wildlife haven. It's packed with flowers as well to bring in the beneficial insects, and lots of herbs and medicinal plants too. And if you'd like to see more detail about this area, then check out our recent midsummer food forest tour. I'll drop the link for that video in the description. Following on from our food forest, this is the first of our growing beds, and this is a perennial vegetable bed. And it is mainly dominant with rhubarb, as you can see, which is just about finished for the year. And then we've got a strip of asparagus over here, which is just in its second year of growth, so we're not actually harvesting from the asparagus yet. And behind me we've got a bed of yacon, which is a beautiful tuber from the Andes, which we harvest in the winter, and it gives you really good fresh crunch. We absolutely love it. And then continuing with the theme of adding in a tropical taste, we've got beautiful plants like cannas dotted in here, which are just coming into flower right now. This area here is our main growing area, where we grow a lot of annual crops and also some perennial crops as well. And we also refer to this area as Dubai, which you might be able to pick out from the shape of the growing beds just a bit further down. Along this big bed here, we've got another perennial crop, Jerusalem artichokes, and they offer a wonderful substantial crop in the depths of winter, and in the back end of summer they flower like beautiful miniature sunflowers as well. In this area we also incorporate cut flowers in this beautiful bed of dahlias and lilies here, which just looks absolutely stunning. And we've got Dan's mum to thank for this area here. That's the patch that she tends. And then this bed here has got to be my favourite right now. This bed is where we grew beans last year, but we had a bit of a change around. And this year we've got a lot of winter squash up here, big winter squash. And then we've got a corn that we're growing to either use as flour corn or to feed to our chickens. And then underplanted with the corn, we've got a tuber called oca, which is creating a lovely ground cover and helping to lock in the moisture. We've got sunflowers down the back, and we've actually got some beans that have popped up. These are a type of runner bean from where we grew beans here last year, and that just shows how runner beans can be perennial. So this bed is actually a three sisters bed, which also incorporates the fourth sister, which is sunflowers. And then of course, the classic tropical theme, we've got a patch of cannas here, which in a few more weeks' time will be looking absolutely beautiful. So this is our market garden style area. Runner beans here on the frames. Then we've got a patch of strawberries, which has been here. They're a perennial crop. They've been growing for probably 5 or 6 years in the same spot now. We've got leeks in the ground growing on. These frames here were supports that we put in new this year for our peas. And we've just done a crop change here. This was a purple snap pea, which is just about finished. And so we're using the space to grow a dwarf French bean now. We've got sweet peas again as cut flowers and to add beauty. And green peas, which are nearing the end, but we're still getting some good harvests from them. And then an array of just about every seasonal veg that you could think of. We've got amaranth up here, We've got kohlrabi, which has been in the ground since the beginning of the year, interplanted with leeks, which are coming on now. A big bed of onions, which soon I'll be knocking the tops over on so that they can finish swelling up and maturing before harvest, probably around the end of the month, end of July. We've got greens, chard, bulbing fennel, which I'm growing for the first time, and this is about as far as I've ever got it without it bolting on me. I'm going to be trying a second sowing of fennel as well for an autumn crop this year. We've got the classic courgettes, and then this bed here is some fairly new plantings which are still just getting established. We've got swede along here. We've got some more rainbow chard that I've sown, and beetroots, and a little patch of lettuce going in here, and carrots down the end. And all of this area is interplanted with flowers like zinnia and sunflowers. And then we've got some beautiful herbs that we'll be using for teas. We've got Korean mint here. And if I'm saying this right, this is Wakatai black mint. And both of these are absolutely delicious in teas. And then right down the end, you can see these plants that are flowering and seeding. This is another layer of our self-sufficiency. We're saving parsnip seeds. So we are completely self-sufficient in parsnips and have been for quite some years. And then we've got leeks that we've let flower, not only because they look beautiful, but also because alliums grow best when you have really fresh seed every year. So we're saving as many seeds as possible whenever we can.
So moving on from our main growing area called Dubai, through this little transitional, beautiful little garden area here where we have oriental lilies, we have tree lilies, we have cordylines, more bananas here, alströmerias. Yeah, really beautiful. Another little fireplace and some chairs here and a little table to come and have lunch and stuff. Really beautiful. We'll work our way up here to an area that I've just kind of been getting ready and planting this year actually. And this area kind of continues the theme. What I was thinking with this area is to have almost like a food forest, but combining it with almost like a garden as well, but also growing loads of food. So we have 6 fruit trees here on either side, and again those are ones that mostly I've grafted. And through the middle we have 3 beds, and this area here this year has been solely I've been growing our own seed potatoes here. We've also got little beds of ornamentals in here as well around the edges. Got all of our carrots for this year. We've just sown and they're just coming up now. It's been very dry, but they're all coming up. So that'll give us the rest of the year's worth of carrots. And again, this area is kind of surrounded by bananas I've planted and more cordylines. So over time, this will have a really kind of tropical backdrop with all the food and coolness in the middle. All right, we'll make our way to one of the last areas. But as we stroll down there, we have all along this bank, it's a berry bank. So these are all alternating Hinnomaki red gooseberries and black currants. And these are all ones that we've grown from cuttings. So a vast majority of the plants here, you might think, how have they been able to afford to do all this? Most of it, the trees I graft, so you can buy the rootstocks for just a couple of pounds and graft them on if you've got a mature tree that you can add to. And yeah, a lot of the rest from cuttings and going around garden nurseries and going to the clearance aisles. All right, so here's a very special tree. This is a hybrid mulberry tree and the most delicious sweet fruits. And this one is planted in memory of my granddad. He loved coming here, and his ashes we planted with this tree underneath. And these are some of the more of the dahlias from his garden as well. So it's beautiful to still have him here with us, and yeah, the memories living on. Welcome to the jungle. I spent a number of years living with indigenous people in the rainforest with tribes, and yeah, so hence my love for the tropical rainforest. So I had to plant one here in the UK. And all of these plants I've planted since getting the land, and most of these trees here you see behind me were actually from seed, and many of the other plants have been from cuttings and stuff I've propagated myself. So yeah, let's go down and check out the jungle, shall we? Everything in here is evergreen, following that theme. So when the native forest is completely bare in the winter time, this still looks exactly as it does now. We have passion fruits dangling in the trees and all manner of hardy palms and tropical type plants from all around the world. So let's go and have a look around. It's so cool to see the vision really coming together now. Have a proper forest floor. Initially there was still a lot of weeds and bramble and grass to cut, but it's become a completely enclosed, self-regulating forest now. And of course, it wouldn't be complete without another little fireplace and kind of chill zone. Little thatched hut me and a couple of mates made with the palm leaves here, and yeah, really nice to come in here. Beautiful place to chill out on a hot day with a hammock.
Okay folks, so that is our 3-acre self-sufficiency farm in the south of England, where we grow around 70 to 80% of all of our own food needs. We really hope that you've enjoyed this tour today, and if you'd like to see more, then check out the other videos that we've got on our channel which go into a lot of these areas in a lot more detail. Also, would love it if you would subscribe and click the like button too, because that really helps to get our videos out there and seen by more people. We love hearing from you in the comments, so drop us some questions down below and we'll catch you there.
Even just say hello. It's lovely to hear from you.
Thanks so much for watching.
Peace
and plants.